Alright, we got our work truck back on the road, or running. It was never off the road. But one thing turned into another. 95 Ford F150 straight 6 4.9 liter. Let's see here, what did we get into? We started with radiator failure, got coolant on the alternator, chewed that up, tried to replace that. The long bolt that it pivots around got stuck in the bracket, so we sawed off the old alternator, got him out of there, got the bolts out of the bracket, took the bracket home here to the shop, got that bolt out, brought the bracket back, reinstalled it to the truck, reinstalled the new alternator. In the process of getting that out of there, we had popped the radiator, so we installed a new radiator. That came, like, must be for the 250 or the 350. This is just the 150. It's 3 times thicker than the existing radiator that we had. It came with provisions for transmission oil cooler. I don't know if you can see that down there. Will it? Up and down. Where is it? Down there. There he is. We plugged those with brass fittings, new coolant. While we were at it, we did new radiator hoses. However, the lower new radiator hose that I ordered here didn't clear the smog pump pulley down here. There was no clearance right there, pulley to hose. It was cutting into it. So I had to get a corrugated flexi style, and I improvised that. So we got that connected up. Then we got it ready to start, and I went and turned it over. And nothing. So I gave up for the day and went home and came back after doing the cursory internet search. This is your starter relay. This is a electrical switch that you signal from the ignition that you want the vehicle to start. So the electrical switch closes the circuit from this contact to this contact, which are never connected unless that circuit is closed, and that starts the vehicle. Well, this guy took a shit. So, since I had the old one on the truck, I could just connect the two of them with a screwdriver as long as the vehicle key was on. If you connect these two with a screwdriver or something across there, it'll start. And that also established that this was shot. So I put a new one of these starter solenoids on. That was quick and easy to do. So, boom, it started up. Then I'm walking around while it's running, and it's kind of puttering and sputtering. It's got a... it always had sort of a slight misfire during idle, but I'm looking at the spark plugs through here, and there's like a bubble coming up around the one, a little bit in the crud that's there bubbling, and the other one's just rattling around. So that was just hand tight, I guess. So we did spark plugs. I took the loose one out and looked at him, and the conductor on the end of him was all melty and just trash. So I got a new set of 6 spark plugs, and when I went to pull the wires off of them, the contacts that are in the cup end of the wire stayed stuck to the old spark plugs that were in there. So I figured, out to hell with this, I'll get a new set of spark plugs while I'm at it, or wires while I'm at it. So I did wires and plugs and degreased this whole engine bay before I did all that, so that when I was putting the new plugs in the tube down to the head to thread them in, I wasn't bringing a bunch of crud and oil garbage on the end of them with me. So I cleaned before I removed those spark plugs. So we did plugs and wires, and then I was looking right at the oil filter, and I had never done an oil change on this truck. I've only had it a year, but I hadn't done one yet, and I didn't know what kind of mileage it had. So I did an oil change and a new filter. And what else did we do? The battery we had done at an earlier point. It was sizzling last year when I bought it, and I noticed after I removed this protective cover over power, this just creates a micro environment here of acidic vapors sometimes and stuff, so everything just hangs out and works on the contact. It was all shitted up, so I cut the wires back and put a new positive negative contact on and sprayed them down with electrical battery protectant. I gave that a shot of that stuff too, and did sort of a W detail, I call it, throughout here. Wiped everything down with WD-40. Took the coolant jug out. You can still see it's kind of brownish, but I poured out the overflow contents and washed this thing with Dawn and soap and water and rinsed it and put it back. So fresh coolant and fresh overflow coolant to try and mitigate how much crud was still left over from the old system. What else did we have here? Oh, and then I got underneath. I need tires still, and I have a nice set of alloy wheels that I'm gonna mount 4 tires to, but it has 2 gas tanks, and I was under there. Oh, the fuel filter. I figured when I did the plugs and the wires, it was running kind of better, and I did a panel filter, which real super cool. Ford 1, 2. I didn't put that one back. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1.5-inch long screws need to be taken out to change the panel filter. That's real cool. I don't know what took so long to figure out a quick release for that, but I put a new filter in, and then I was thinking air filter and plugs and wires. Probably should check the fuel filter, and that was just a rusted out. Here's all the crap. There's the fuel filter there, just a rusted pile of junk. So I put a new fuel filter in line, and when I was under there, I noticed that the first strap on the front gas tank was completely gone, and the second strap was about to let go. So I did a set of gas tank straps as well, and then the final piece of the puzzle, it doesn't, well, not final, the electric windows weren't working. This has got a switch relocated to there. Don't ask me why, that's how it came, but the electric window wasn't working. So I took the door card off and replaced that whole mechanism. That was pretty straightforward. Had a couple rivets I needed to punch out, and I replaced them with bolts, but that took all of an hour or something to put the door card back on. And that door, the hinge pins were so bad that you couldn't shut it from outside without picking the door up. These pins, this one needs it also. I'm kind of halfway through this one here, but you cut the top out and you pack the pin out of there, and then there's a couple brass bushings that everything turns on. But if you can pick the door up out here to that extent, this one still is closing, but pretty soon it's going to not close anymore. And that's another quick, cheap fix. So long as you have good tools, you just cut the top of that pin off and the other one down there, or take the body of the hinge off and pack them out and put new ones in. But really, for less than without tools that I had to purchase here, less than $500, I got a pretty serious overhaul to this guy. But he's just a 150, and I need a 250 to pull my little skid steer over there. So we got our eyes on a red one. Looks just about like this. Bigger tow mirrors, 8 lug hubs, big V8, 250 suspension, bucket seats, and but a full bed and regular cab. And it's clean. It's from another state, so no rust or anything like that, which really makes it sexy to me. That's what we got our eye on for the future. So if we don't get that one, we'll get another one like it. But for now, we got to make this thing work for us, and we got to get a set of tires for it. So just as a final update on that little debacle, it only took all of Memorial Day weekend to button that up. Whatever. Catch you later.